I feel like signals offer the ability to see what's in that top of funnel that you don't have so much, you previously didn't have so much visibility into. And then that's a better buying experience, and it's a better way to pass over leads that are ready to buy to your sales team.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Confessions of a B2B Entrepreneur. My name is Tom Hunter, your host, and today we have Kevin White, who is the head of marketing at Common Room. And this is an awesome episode. Kevin has been in the online marketing game for a while, 15 years approximately. He started in B2C and moved to B2B. And we spoke about the things that used to work 15 years ago and also the things that are working for him right now at Common Room, and also how the marketing leads should interface and interact with the CEO. Awesome episode. Before we jump into that, shout out to Fame for producing the show. If you like a show like this, please go to fame.so and request a proposal. With that, let's jump into this episode with Kevin now. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me.
So how many years of marketing experience do we have on this call?
Well, I guess it depends on how you count as marketing years, but in SaaS and probably the companies are that the more relevant experience is more like 15. I think I started in 2010 in this world, and essentially like I was dropped in. They're like, we bought this product called Marketo, like figure out how it works. And so that type of experience, I have 15 years. And then if you count before that, I actually started doing marketing for an e-commerce website. I used to work at the surf shop, and I built their website out. It was, I built this website. I was like, oh, you have to do marketing to get people to come to this website. And so if you combine that, then it's over 20 years. So a good amount of experience here.
Yeah, because LinkedIn's telling me that you worked at the Huntington Surf and Sport.
Huntington Surf and Sport, yeah.
For 10 years.
Yeah, so I started when I was, it's a little bit cheating to have that much tenure, but I started when I was 16. And so I was there folding shirts, selling surfboards. And then I was like, hey, this was like 2000, so I've been dating myself quite a bit. And I was like, hey, we could like start selling this stuff online, and built out their website, and started partnering with a lot of the surf brands and driving people to buy board shorts, t-shirts, and surfboards online. So that was a fun time. Yeah.
I bet you learned a shitload about marketing then. What was the channel that you were like, wow, this is amazing, it's working so well?
Yeah, that was back in the day where like AdWords, Google AdWords is novel, and it's like, wow, people are searching for these things, and you can rank, or you can show up for the search results, you can pay for the clicks, and it's very transactional. You can see like, okay, someone looked up Billabong board shorts, and we had like certain like types of board shorts that we would rank, or that we would have exact keyword matches for, and stuff like that, and they would click through, buy the board shorts, and you'd be like, oh, we spent $40 on this traffic, and the board shorts like purchase was like $80, and so we made some decent profit on that or something. So it's kind of like working out all the details. There was Google AdWords was definitely the channel back then for e-commerce, and it still is like pretty dominant to today. So they really cracked the whole that whole like cash cow product of theirs.
Was it super easy to rank for those terms as well? I guess you had to outrank Billabong, that you could get like 2 or 3.
Well, we would partner with Billabong. So if they got traffic, they would push it to us because they didn't have their own shopping cart at that time. So I rode that for quite a while, having all those different brand partners to list us and some of our competitors, to drive traffic. And then eventually they caught on. They're like, oh, we should just do this direct thing ourselves. Actually, that kind of like evolved into direct to consumer, and I think that's what they're doing now. So
that's crazy. So like Google Ads and SEO, were you working with influencers back then?
Definitely not in the back then it was like MySpace. Like there was not, Facebook was like just coming on. And so there wasn't like this kind of creator influencer ecosystem back then. But we did have something analogous, which is like, it's like the old school influencers, which is like what Nike kind of popularized with their sponsorships of athletes. And so we actually, the company I worked for, Huntington Surf, where we had a surf team. And so those were our influencers. They were our, on the surf tours and all that stuff, and representing our brand.
Presumably they weren't creating content for you guys though, because
they were creating content in the form of like photos and videos and stuff like that, but it was not like, hey, check out this wetsuit. I use it for this XYZ reason. Buy it here, and we would give them an affiliate commission. Definitely not like that.
So nothing's really changed though. So it would be like highly produced surf videos that like get put as documentaries, and the people in there were wearing your stuff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was more. I mean, back then it was more. I mean, there was some more scrappiness to it than that. It wasn't like really highly produced. But these were surfers that were in different magazines, different surf videos on DVD, and essentially like your brand comes through from them wearing the clothing, putting the stickers on their surfboards, maybe talking about it in an interview. And so you get brand awareness that way. And then it's also content that you create for your own marketing and advertising. And so we would use the videos, we would use the photos and all that kind of stuff in our, outside, out of home type of stuff, which is really mostly around like the actual outside of the storefront is like in a very crowded area. But then also in different like magazines and stuff like that, we would have videos of the surfers that were on our team and all this kind of stuff. I think they still do it to this day. I've been out of that world for quite a while, but it's, nothing's really changed. I mean, I'm applying that now in the B2B space.
Yeah, like it's so you see like B2C brands taking the TikToks from their customer and then posting on their own TikTok, right? It's basically the same thing you were doing back then.
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, today at Common Room, we're it's definitely a different use case, but we're finding people who are the analogy was someone who's posting content on LinkedIn that gets noticed, and like we're definitely partnering with those people, and not only like partnering with them, but like having them use our product, having them showcase our product, and by way of that, there are other people who are in our ideal customer profile are finding about our product, and like that whole thing is I think it's called like a creator ecosystem or whatever, influencers, whatever you want to call it. Like that is working pretty well in B2B right now for us. But then, like all things, marketers will ruin it, and I'm sure we'll have to figure out another strategy and tactic in the future. But right now, that's working pretty well.
Absolutely. And we're going to get on to Common Room later because I want to go back to the shift. I think you shifted from B2C to B2B in 2010 as you went to work at Gigya.
Yeah. Gigya. It was a company back then that was built a lot of like social media tooling and then did authentication through different social platforms like Facebook Connect at the time, and Google had authentication, and so we kind of like built out this like identity authentication thing. But yeah, back then I had no idea what I was getting into, and that was almost even the advent of SaaS. I guess Salesforce was before that, but like that was when SaaS was just becoming a thing, software as a service. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I was like, I kind of hit a ceiling with this e-commerce thing, and things are changing, and I want to like move up to the Bay Area in San Francisco and kind of be part of this world and see how it goes. And so I just applied, found a company, Gigya. I had no idea what they did and like what all of Silicon Valley and all it was about. And I joined, and they're like, "Yeah, you seem smart. Like, we bought this software called Marketo. It's for B2B software for marketing, and here you are. Figure out how to use it." And that's kind of like how I got started in all this. The new world of what I've been doing for the last 15 or so years, so 14 years.
Which was the Marketo campaign or workflow that you were most proud of?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. So I think people who are old school Marketo will know this, and that they had this it was very fancy or very clever marketing of them, where they should have like built a product around it, but instead they like built all these different kind of like hacky workflows or hacky workarounds for like doing a one massive campaign of like someone comes inbound, depending on whatever they do, like push them over into like this sequence or this track. They called it the traffic cop, because essentially you create this like traffic cop workflow where someone comes in and like a traffic cop is like directing traffic one way or the other. And so that was I followed their like webinar on it. It was a really great it's a really great example of doing education to like educating the market through marketing. And yeah, I built that. It worked, and it worked after probably some trials and tribulations for sure. But I was like, wow, this is the height of technical marketing ops right now, and I like followed Marketo's playbook there and like got it to work. So that was a huge success, huge feather in my cap for using Marketo.
So then we shifted to, well, actually a mixture of demand generation and head of marketing. And even in Common Room, you've had both roles. What would you say is like the difference, if there is, between being head of demand generation or head of marketing?
I mean, there's differences. I mean, head of marketing, I feel like it depends on, not the funny thing about marketing is there's lots of different sciences to marketing. There's, a brand science, there's demand gen, there's marketing ops, there's growth and demand gen. I like kind of bucket in the same thing. And then there's product marketing. And so like, and there's even more than that. But, it's really impossible to be good at all of those things. And so being a marketing leader, you kind of have to know your strengths and weaknesses. Whereas like if you're just leading one of those particular things, you can, ride on that and like lean on the expertise there. And so I would say like that's a big part of being a marketing leader is, okay, you're hired to probably do more of the growth. In my case, hired to do more of the growth and demand gen side of things because, I thrive at early stage companies that like they've figured out product market fit and just need to like figure out how to like scale it and grow it. But there's still a lot of elements that, you also come with that territory. You need to have good product marketing to, have the right messaging and positioning for growth. And you need to have it's helpful to have a good brand as well. And so I think the difference is, knowing what good looks like across all of those different vectors of marketing, and then being able to know where your strong points and weak points are. And so I was strong on the demand and growth side of things. And so I would just hire people who will know way more than I do and are way better than I am at product marketing or brand, and know what I need and know what good looks like from my experience, mostly working at Segment and other companies, and then hire for those people that are great and then just let them kind of like run and do their thing with some guardrails. And so there's also like the people management and like, managing up to the board, which is, not my favorite thing. But there's that element of being a head of marketing or a VP of marketing that's different. But yeah, I mean, essentially the core principles are the same. And I don't know. I guess there's quite some differences, but also like a ton of similarities too. Like not all that much changes, I would say.
I have a theory about marketing that I want to run past you. As somebody who's managed to get marketing roles at a number of companies, my theory is that the distance in like how good the product is over competitors makes marketing that distance, it correlates with how easy the marketing will be, and therefore how many different channels may work that would have worked in another scenario. So let's just say if we have you go to work for company A, their product is like 50% better than the rest of the market. It means all of the channels are probably open for you to do. Like outbound is going to work because you just mentioned what the product does, and you get the higher response rate, and then the numbers work out. And so if that is true, which I think it is, then the skill really of the marketer is to seek out the products that are the best. Would you agree?
I would agree that is first of all, you're uncovering my secrets to success here. Like just find a good company with a good product and like just ride on the coattails of that. I feel like that's definitely the case at Segment and Retail in some perspective. But I would say that's true. Find the right product. I mean, for me on the marketing side, it's like I would never want to join a company, or I never want to I never want to do marketing for when I'm filling a leaky bucket. And that means, you have to have a solid product that people love and you retain users. Otherwise, like you're just burning cash. And so I definitely want to look for, net dollar retention at the very least in, definitely above 100%, but 120+% is like a good proxy for that. Yeah.
So on that then, are you asking that in interviews?
Oh yeah, definitely. I just feel like share your numbers with me. Maybe if you're a junior marketer, it's hard to ask those questions, but I feel like, you can always ask them. They just say no. But most people will share especially if they're trying to hire someone, will share those numbers, and you can just ask directly. Just be like, I want to join a company where, we have strong product market fit, because otherwise my skill set here is like going to be wasted. And like, can you tell me the NRR numbers? And like, every company that I've been at has like shared those numbers with me. So.
And have you sometimes got the numbers and it's like lower than 100%, and then you don't go for the role?
Yeah, it's more. I do some more advisory work, and it's more like working with those kind of companies to help them, get to that level. And so like those companies look, the way that I get to become an advisor for them as they are kind of like want me to join in a way, and then I'll assess and be like, oh, I do want to work at this company or don't want to work at this company. And NRR is not like the only reason why I wouldn't work at a company, but that's like definitely a prerequisite.
Okay, nice. Glad we're aligned there. So let's move forward to Common Room. My first question is the structure of the team. Roughly how many people in marketing, and because your role is head of marketing, so roughly how many people in the team, and then are you reporting into the founder CEOs or is it like a CMO?
Yeah, so the structure of the team is relatively small and scrappy. I mean, we have 4 people on the marketing team, and then we have also the sales development org. The SDRs report to marketing as well, and so total we have 9, but 4 of those are SDRs. One is an SDR lead, and then a growth lead, a content lead, and then we call him a programs lead, but it's kind of like our creator program in our events programming. So it's kind of like community role. So those are the core roles, and then all those people report to me, and then I report to the CEO. And so pretty small team. We're a Series B company with just under 100 employees, so pretty small marketing team.
And what's working right now?
Let's see what's working. They're essentially like I structured what's working around the team, or maybe I said that in the wrong order. Figure out what's working and then hire the team for it is kind of how we structure things. And so, some of the things that we see working really well right now, and this is more of like a general principle of marketing too. I would say is it's very obvious. It's like, okay, where's your audience? Where do they hang out? Where are they engaged on? And like, how can you get in front of that audience? Like, what offer can you put in front of that audience? Audience is how marketing and growth marketing typically works well. And so LinkedIn is that channel for us. We're selling to marketers, we're selling to sales and SDR leaders, and then go-to-market ops people. So like go-to-market is our audience. And so all of that org is typically on LinkedIn. And so LinkedIn is our core channel right now. And what's working right now for that is we have our creator program, which we kind of talked about earlier, which is find people who are in our space talking about the things that we care about, who are maybe demoing products like ours and just wanted to showcase those. Find those people, incentivize them to post about us in various ways. That generates awareness. That awareness comes inbound. Our sales teams can close it. And that's like one channel that's working super well right now.
Can we just dig into this one? So
let's do it.
You say incentivize them in various ways. Do you mean by paying them
money? Yeah, just pay them cash. That is one incentive. There's other incentives too, though, like especially so we're also adjusting or changing this program a little bit too, where there's people who are new users who are using Common Room, and maybe they don't have the budget, or they can't pull the right strings to get the approval to buy the product. And so those people we incentivize for like, oh, share about us, write about us on reviews, give us a referral, and we'll give you the product for free. And so they're incentivized by getting free access to the product. Or some others are incentivized by referral, like affiliate type of commissions, if they're consultants and stuff like that. So there's various different incentives, but I would say that like the way we seeded it and like this distribution of the core creators was just cash.
Got it. And the content would be like a video demo, presumably of them like in the product.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's a video demo. Sometimes it's promoting some of the content. Like we have this, we created this signals guide of 100 different buying signals that you can use, and that like is really good entry point into Common Room. It's like, oh, I want to use this and this signal. Common Room can help me capture that signal. And so we have this resource. It's like, oh, I want to get into this like signals based selling space because I think that's a more efficient way to run go to market. What signal should I start with? And then we have that asset for them, that offer for them. And so our creators will take that and they'll write their own post about it and use that as an offer. And so it's a mix across the board. It's not just a product demo or not just showcasing the product, but I would say there's a couple of different. It's working with the creators and what their content is, and like trying to fit into like what's authentic to them is what we do.
Got it. So we actually touched upon the second one there, which is content. Anything else working well in content?
Well, LinkedIn is like our primary content channel. And so we do a lot of like, I post a lot, our CEO posts a lot. Florin, who is on our SDR team, he's our SDR lead. He is actually one of our creators that we hired, and now he runs our SDR team. And so he's also posting a good amount of content. And so there's a person from SparkToro, her name is Amanda. And she kind of coined this term zero-click content. And so essentially, like, we'll have this, when we launch a product or when we want to like showcase our thoughts, we'll have a long form blog post, but we'll distill that blog post into multiple different posts that we use on LinkedIn. And that helps a ton with distribution. And so we really focus a lot of our content and content distribution on LinkedIn as a primary channel.
Got it. Are we also spending money on thought leader ads or other LinkedIn ads?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, thought leader ads are one of the primary areas of LinkedIn paid spend that we invest in. The great thing about thought leader ads is you can write content for those thought leader ads, see which of that content gets a lot of engagement, or see which of that content gets engagement with the right people, and then turn that into a thought leader ad, and then be really precise of like, okay, this content worked really well for this group of people. Like, let's make sure it gets distributed to the perfect audience for us, and that works well in terms of not only engagement and awareness, but also, driving top of funnel acquisition and pipeline.
Have you ever put budget behind a creator's posts through as a full thought leader ad?
Yeah, some of them. With that, it's kind of working with the creators to see if they want to, because to have a thought leader ad, you can't just like pick any post on LinkedIn and promote it. So they have to authenticate, they have to like agree to it, and so some creators, draw a line in the sand there of like, oh, we won't do this for partners. We will, but we definitely have experimented with some creators who have accepted that and partner with us on like, oh, we're not only are we going to create this post for you, but we're going to like distribute it via thought leader ads. And some creators are like, oh, this is great. It's getting me even more exposure. So sometimes it's beneficial for both parties.
Anything else working well?
Let's see. Our on the SDR fronts, because the SDR team is also reporting to marketing, and we're very well connected there. I would say we do dog food a lot of our own products, and so the whole signals based approach is working really well for us to generate pipeline. And so since we're creating all this awareness on LinkedIn, actually there's kind of like three different areas where it's working for our SDR team. It's like pulling in signals from website visits. It's pulling in signals from LinkedIn. And then we have a PLG, like a self-serve approach. And so finding signals from people signing up for a product and using it, that's like what's feeding a lot of our SDR team. And and essentially SDR job on marketing is to create all those signals for that team to work.
And so an example of a signal on LinkedIn might just be somebody that's aligned with ICP comments on the CEO's post.
Yeah, something like that, or a competitor's post or a creator's post. They do those comments on there, and then we, as Common Room, have a product where we have a Chrome extension where we can pull that into Common Room, and we can say like, oh, this person's in our ICP or not, and then put them into some sort of like outbound sequence, or connect with them on LinkedIn and send them a message, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of our playbook there on the LinkedIn engagement side of things.
That's a really interesting way, or like modern way, I think, of looking at the role of marketing. Mm-hmm. Basically just to generate these signals. I guess the ultimate signal is someone requesting a demo, but you have all these other signals before that we typically don't know about.
Yeah.
And this is instead of just going completely cold, which is working less and less.
Yeah. We have like this, there's a spectrum of signals, right? Where, there's the ultimate signals is someone hand raising and having a demo request and those you don't even need to like put much effort into. It's just like, that's what Chili Piper's for. Book a meeting with us, and like you have such intent that we don't need to like do any personalization. But then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is, a pretty light intent signal. Someone visiting like your homepage or something like that is a signal, but like, it's questionable if you should act on that or not, because, what's the conversion rate there? And so, typically on the lower intent end, you see a high volume and you need to put more effort into, converting those. And then on the high intent end, you see lower volume, but, it doesn't take much effort to convert that into pipeline.
Are you confident that the SDR team should be reporting into marketing?
Most people, I feel like this is a topic that maybe people have more hot takes or more polarized views on, but I don't think it matters really. I think what matters is aligning on and this is what we do too, is aligning on the metric that is joint between marketing and SDRs. And so maybe that's the case to like have the SDR team report to marketing, but we're both gold on pipeline, and we see the SDR org and the marketing org as the whole engine for generating pipeline. And so with signals and with marketing generating signals and the SDRs working those signals, maybe it makes more sense to have them all under one umbrella. But if it was on the sales team and we were still pipeline was our main goal, and we were having the same kind of enablement sessions and working with the SDR team to build plays for them and stuff like that, not much would change if it was reporting to myself versus our sales lead. So I think the alignment is the key there, but who it reports to doesn't matter so much.
Talking about reporting, how would you recommend marketing leaders build the relationship with the CEO?
Yeah, I would actually even level it up even more and build the relationship with the board. So like, let's report on company level metrics and like what metrics level up to, what are the inputs to that. I would say, aligning with the CEO is something that we have, we do, and I would say like that is really key. You can't just be like marketing in a silo and like people are like, why is your metrics different from the sales team metrics that are different from the CFO's metrics? Like it all has to like group up into the company-wide metrics, which is something that the CEO owns. And so one thing we've done that works pretty well for that is we hold a, some people call it like a go-to-market business, weekly business review. We call it pipeline council. And so we will meet myself, the heads of sales, both commercial and enterprise, our financial lead, and then also our CEO will all meet together on once a week and just kind of say like, here's our numbers. Here's how we're performing across all teams, and like all of those metrics like lead to one or the other. Like for instance, the SDR productivity leads to meetings booked, leads to pipeline, leads to close won deals, and so like each one of those different metrics in the funnel is owned by different team members. And so since we have that alignment and we're reviewing it all and inspecting it all on a weekly basis, like there's alignment and we're all kind of on the same page.
Got it. And are you saying that you have like direct exposure to the board? Like you go to board meetings or you're preparing information? When you say building relationship with the board?
Yeah, so then it's also at the CEO and executive team level. It's like, okay, these are the metrics that we're going to report on, and we're going to be consistent about reporting on these every board meeting or every monthly update that we send. And so, essentially the same metrics that we use for that pipeline council meeting is the same metrics that we report to the board. And then, those team members are also creating slides and creating content for the board, and we'll share that with the board in the weekly board meeting as well. Weekly board meeting. The core, board meetings are once every 2 months. So, but the kernel of it starts with like having that core set of metrics that you don't have to like scramble every time you're having like a new meeting.
What are you most excited about in B2B right now?
Oh, what am I most excited about? I'm really bullish on this new direction of signals being the thing that marketing is measured by, and in marketing measuring signals. And the reason I'm bullish on it is because I feel like we got into this world of I need to track every single thing and I need to attribute every single thing we do in marketing, and that's just like not how people buy. And so that led to a lot of different things in marketing where you're forcing people to put their email in to download an ebook, and like they never read the ebook or they never follow up. You're just like passing over all these leads to your sales team that they're not able to do any, convert into pipeline. And so I feel like signals offer the ability to see what's in that top of funnel that you don't have so much, previously didn't have so much visibility into. And then that's a better buying experience, and it's a better way to pass over leads that are, ready to buy to your sales team. And so I'm really bullish on that. I feel like there's still a long way to go there. And I think it's just going to be the new way to do marketing and just like the new way to do go to market in general.
Love it. Well, Kevin, thank you for coming on and sharing the wisdom. We'll obviously link to your LinkedIn and Common Room below. Is there anything else we should mention or link to?
There's that 100 signals guide that I mentioned, which I can share. That's a fun one, and people seem to enjoy that. But other than that, LinkedIn is a great spot, and we post there regularly and share stuff like we talked about today. So
Signal-based marketing. I love it. Kevin, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. What do we think, guys? Back to the B2B marketing roots. I do want to keep kind of on the top of B2B marketing. That's why I'll keep bringing on probably the odd guest, maybe 1 in 6 or so, to try and keep me sharp. But also, I think it's important for the B2B entrepreneur to be aware and to be good at marketing. It's arguably one of the most important skills for a B2B entrepreneur. So thank you so much to Kevin for coming on. Thank you so much to Fame.so for producing the show. And thank you for listening.